Stop, you haven't subscribed to the channel yet. Subscribe now, we have new stories every day. Now let's go. This was a conversation I wasn't supposed to hear. That day, I was supposed to be with a client, but the client called and canceled the appointment. As a result, I was sitting in my cubicle, working on some paperwork. It was early, around 7:15. The official start was no earlier than 8 o'clock, but a lot of the guys came in early to have coffee and chat before work. I heard Brad and Bill come in and start talking, first about the latest stupidity announced by management, then touching on yesterday's game, before moving on to the inevitable discussion about women. By the time they got to the topic of women, Sam, Al, Josh, and Donnie had joined Brad and Bill. I was around the corner, so no one passed by me, and no one knew I was there. They talked about all the girls in the office and what they would like to do with each of them. Then Josh said, "Suppose you could have one. Who would you choose?" I pick Mary because of her big chest. "My wife's chest is so small, she hardly even needs to wear a bra," said Brad. Ted chose Sally because she had the nicest backside he'd ever seen. "What about you, Sam?" Ted asked. "That's easy, but she doesn't work here." "Who is it?" "Rob's wife. I'd do Jenny as many times as I could." "Too bad you'll never get the chance." "Why do you say that? She's available. I've seen it in her eyes." "Hell, every guy in the room could probably have her, maybe even all at once." "You mean all together?" "Maybe, or just one-on-one. Bring her to a party with Rob, and I'll bet I could get her. I'll even bet that 15 minutes later, Brad could have his turn, and before the party's over, she'd probably do everyone at least once." "You're crazy," said Bill. "No," Sam replied. "She's available, and Rob knows it. Why else do you think he's always hovering around her?" That wasn't true. I was so foolishly in love with her that I couldn't bear to be apart from her. "I'm telling you guys, she's available." "Sam, you're so full of it." "No one's going to believe that." Their conversation was cut short when Harry, our manager, shouted, "Hey, it's 8 o'clock, where the hell are my guys?" The small gathering ended, and the guys dispersed to start their daily work. That evening on my way home, I wondered why Sam was so sure he could get to my wife. She was stunning, and that alone guaranteed she'd attract men's attention. She did love to flirt, which made the guys hover around her, but I didn't think Sam would have a chance with her. He just wasn't her type. Still, this was an opportunity for me to try something. If I played my cards right, I might even make $1 or $2. It would take some effort, but I just might be able to make the situation work for me. The first step was to get Jenny involved. When I got home, Jenny had already made dinner. After a little small talk about our days, I asked her, "You really want to go to Cancun? How far are you willing to go to make it happen?" "What kind of question is that?" "I think I know a way we can get the money without borrowing or going into debt, but it depends on what you're willing to do." "What are you talking about?" I told her what I'd overheard. "I want to take advantage of it. What I want to do is invite all of them over for a barbecue, and then I want you to act like you might be open to being with one or two of them if the opportunity arises." "Are you crazy, Rob?" "Hear me out. Okay, you're stunning, and every man you know wants to get into your pants. You flirt a lot, and that makes a couple of them think they actually have a chance. Here's what I'm proposing. We'll throw a barbecue, and you'll do everything you can to make them think they might have a shot with you if they can just get me out of the way. Then I'll set up a poker game for the following week. I'll ask Bill to start another conversation like the one I overheard this morning, and as soon as Sam or someone else says he's confident he could get with you, Bill will bet them that they can't. We'll arrange it so that he pushes them to place a wager. Then he'll say, "Okay, I'm so sure you won't succeed. I'll bet you $500 it won't happen. You can take your chance. I'll get Rob out of the way, so there'll be plenty of time to try. You'll prep them in advance at the barbecue so they're convinced they'll succeed and take the bet during the poker game. You'll turn them all down, and we'll walk away with $3,000 to cover the trip to Cancun. And what exactly am I supposed to do with a barbecue?" "Just keep up your usual flirting and take it a bit further." "What do you mean by further?" "That'll be entirely up to you. Anything goes, just don't sleep with them or do anything too intimate." "So you're saying I should let them touch me a little?" "Maybe rub a couple of spots over their clothes, throw in a few intense kisses, and then send them home with a case of blue balls." "Yeah, something like that. I want them to leave the barbecue feeling certain they could get with you if they had the chance." "How are you planning to get Bill on board with this?" "I'll offer him $500. That'll still leave us with $2,500 for the trip." "What do you think? Can you do it?" "Oh, I can do it, darling, and it might even be fun, but you realize there's going to be a side effect." "What do you mean?" "They'll all leave with blue balls, sure, but I'll be left hotter than a forest fire after they're gone. I'll do everything I can to blow your mind. You better start taking your vitamins right now to be ready." The next day at work, I pulled Bill aside, told him I'd overheard the conversation, and then explained what I wanted to do. A broad smile spread across his face, and he told me he was all in. You know, I think highly of Jenny, and it really pissed me off when Sam said she'd be easy to sleep with. Bill was on board with the plan. All that was left was to prepare the guys. It was too late to set up the barbecue for the upcoming weekend, so I scheduled it for the following one and made sure everyone would be there. After that, all we had to do was wait and see. As far as I could tell, the barbecue was a success. Jenny wore a pair of Daisy Dukes with her cheeks peeking out, and she went braless under a low-cut top. I could see the tents forming in the guys' pants. I noticed that from time to time, Jenny and one of the guys would disappear for 5 or 10 minutes, and each time I saw the guy afterward, his pants were tented. I casually set up a poker game for the following Thursday, and all the guys said they'd come. They all left feeling certain that Jenny was theirs if they could just get me out of the way. True to her word, Jenny loved me like crazy that night, almost to death. Bill made his move on Monday morning. The conversation started with everyone commenting on how hot Jenny looked at the barbecue, and Sam said, "I'm telling you guys, she's available if we can just get to her when Rob's not around." Everyone agreed with him, but they all thought it'd be almost impossible to get me out of the way. That's when Bill jumped in. "That's complete nonsense. You don't stand a chance of getting her." "Oh, come on, Bill. Everyone but you know she's available. I think you're in love with her or something, looking at her through rose-colored glasses." "Oh, really? Are you willing to stand by your words?" "What do you mean?" "The poker game on Thursday. I'll get Rob out of the way, and you take your best shot. I'll bet each of you $500 that you won't even get a kiss. Do you have $3,000 you're ready to lose? Hey, the stakes are on the table. You guys are so confident, put up or shut up." One by one, the guys said they were in. "All right," Bill said, "I'll slip Rob something to knock him out. Once he's down, you can all do your best. Just one rule, she has to be willing. No getting her drunk or forcing her into anything." "Agreed." "Yeah," Bill agreed. On the night of the game, I had Jenny dress incredibly sexy, high heels, a mini skirt, and a low-cut blouse. We said she was supposed to go out with some friends while we played cards, but at the last minute, her plans fell through, so she decided to stay and play hostess. We all sat down, dealt the cards, and started the game. We were on the third round when the phone rang, and Jenny picked it up. "It's for you, Rob. It's Sally." Sally was my brother's wife. I got up, went to the phone, and after a few minutes, I returned. "My brother's been in an accident and was taken to the hospital. I'll have to leave, but there's no reason to end the game." I kissed Jenny, told her I'd call her from the hospital, and left. I drove to Murphy's bar, had a beer, then called home and asked Jenny to tell the guys that I wouldn't be back until morning. Dan has a concussion and he's still out of it right now. Sally needs to be home with the kids, so I'll have to stay here until he wakes up. The doctors say it could take a few hours. I'll go to work from here in the morning. I told her I loved her and would call as soon as he woke up. Then I called Sally, thanked her for the call, and said I owed her one. I had a couple more beers and stayed the night in Motel 6. At 6 o'clock, I called Jenny and told her that Dan had woken up and seemed to be okay. At work, Bill came up to me smiling and handed me an envelope. "That's $3,000. You didn't take your share." "Oh no, Rob. This was worth it for me. Use the extra for Jenny when you get to Cancun. Everything goes smoothly after I left. It's a shame your brother got hurt, but it actually made things easier for us. If we used that drug, you'd have been in the house longer, and that would have delayed them a bit. But with you leaving, they figured they had free rein. The guys left your house last night looking a bit disappointed. Jenny played them along until they were sure they'd get her to go all the way, and then she shut them down. Man, it was priceless to see Sam leave with his tail between his legs." Around 10, I told my boss I wasn't feeling well and went home. Jenny would be at work until 5 o'clock and wouldn't be back until 5:45. I went down to the basement workshop, opened the toolbox, and took out 5 voice-activated recorders I had hidden around the house before the barbecue. I rewound the first one and pressed play. I heard heavy breathing and what sounded like a kiss. Then Brad said, "God, you're so hot. Do we have time for a quickie?" "I'm afraid not," Jenny replied. "Maybe during poker night. Let me give you a little taste." I heard the sound of a zipper being undone. Then Jenny said, "Let me kiss it." "Go ahead, please, just for a second." "Oh, God." "Put it away, baby, and look forward to poker night, okay?" "Okay." The sound of a door opening and closing, and then the recorder stopped. A second later, it started again. "Did anyone see us come in?" "No," Sam replied. "You told me to be careful, so I made sure no one was around." "Take it out. Let me see it here." "We're doing this here." "No, silly, we're not doing anything until poker night. I just want to see what's in store for me." There was the sound of another zipper, and Jenny said, "Wow, baby, you're holding me so hot right now that a minute would be enough." "Oh my God, let me have a look then," Sam groaned. "I'm at the edge, followed by wet sounds." "Put it away, baby. "We need to get back to the party," Jenny said, and the sound of a door opening and closing followed. There was nothing more on this recorder, so I moved on to the next one. The door opened and closed, and then I heard Al say, "How much time do we have?" "Just enough for you to show me what I can look forward to on poker night." "God, Al, if I'd known you were that size, we'd have been playing long ago." "What are you doing?" "Taking off my shorts." "Why?" "I want to. I can't wait until poker night to see how it feels." Sounds of clothes dropping to the floor. Then, "All right, baby, take it easy. That's it. Oh God, that feels so good. Just a little. Do it to me a bit. Oh God, yes, just like that. Damn, I wish we didn't have to stop. Too bad we don't have more time, but we need to hurry back to the party." More sounds of clothes being adjusted, followed by kissing sounds and Jenny's words, "I don't want to wait until Thursday, baby, but damn it, I'll have to." There was nothing more on this recorder, nor on the next one. I already knew it was on the 5th tape, so I put them back in the toolbox, went upstairs, and grabbed the tapes from the 4 cameras I had set up in the bedrooms and the living room. On the living room tape, I saw myself leaving, and then Jenny went to the window and pulled back the curtain to look outside. A minute later, she turned around and said, "All right, he's gone." "How do you want to do this?" Bill asked. "You all know what's at stake, right?" Jenny asked. 500 each, and no one ever says a word about this." "Got it." Everyone agreed, and then Jenny said, "Hand your money to Bill, then draw cards. The highest card goes first." They drew cards, and Donnie was first. "I want you to lie right here on the poker table first, and then we'll take you to the bedroom." Jenny undressed and told Donnie to sit on the table. As I watched the recording, I picked up my cell phone and quickly dialed a number. "John, this is Rob. I think we hit the jackpot. We expected to catch only Bill, but we got Bill and 5 others. I'm watching the recording now. Yes, keep an eye on the newspapers, and we'll meet on Tuesday." "All right, see you then." I hung up and returned to watching the footage. The bedroom camera caught them as they entered. Jenny went over to the dresser, took some gel out of the top drawer, and walked to the bed. She laid Josh down on the bed, then called Bill over, applied some gel to him, and handed him the tube. She climbed onto the bed and leaned over Josh. Bill got on the bed behind her. Just then, the phone rang. It was me calling Jenny to tell her I'd be staying at the hospital and going to work from there. "He's not coming home, guys, so we have time until you all need to go to work if you can last that long." Bill and Josh found their rhythm, and then Al joined them on the bed. By 2 o'clock in the morning, no one had the energy left to continue, and everyone but Bill got dressed to leave. "When can we do this again?" Al asked. "Anytime you have $500. After everyone left, Jenny and Bill laid down in bed, and Jenny snuggled up to Bill. Was I naughty enough for my lover? Oh God, yes. When I told you this was my biggest fantasy, I never thought you'd actually do it. I never thought I'd do it either, but I really want to go to Cancun, and the chance to get the money for the trip was too good to pass up. I only wish I could go with you. Maybe next time, lover." A few minutes later, they were both asleep. When Jenny got home from work, I was sitting on the back porch, sipping a beer. She came out, sat beside me, leaned over, and kissed me. "How was your day?" she asked. "Honestly, one of the best." "Oh, did something good happen?" "I think so. I believe I managed to get rid of some extra baggage and saved a lot of money." "How did you do that?" "I recorded your little adventure last night." I looked at her. "Why so pale, my love?" "Surprised that your dear husband isn't as stupid as you thought." "I'm sure I don't know what you mean." "No." "Well, let me spell it out for you. I found out about you and Bill 3 months ago. I went to a divorce lawyer and got some bad news. It doesn't matter if you're the one in high heels. Divorce in this state means a 50-50th split. Court tends to side with women, which means I'd likely end up paying your lawyer's fees and all the court costs. That was a price I wasn't willing to pay to get rid of your cheating behind, but there was a way around it. If I could catch you committing a crime against me, I could throw you out, and it would only cost me my lawyer's fee and court costs, leaving me with all the assets. I just couldn't figure out how to make it happen until you started pushing for that trip to Cancun. Then I overheard the conversation between Brad, Sam, and the guys and wondered if I could use it to my advantage. I gave you a whole story about a bet with the guys, and you and your lover took the bait and ran with it. I had 4 voice-activated recorders hidden in the house during the barbecue, and I've got recordings of you sizing up Al, giving Sam a quick minute of pleasure, and generally telling everyone you were planning to hook up with them last night. But as good as those recordings are, they're not the ones that will send you to jail. The recorder I had on the phone line will do that. Don't go anywhere, I'll be right back. I got up, went inside, grabbed another beer, and then picked up the recorder I'd left in the office. I returned to the porch and sat down on the swing. This is a good story, the one that'll put you and Bill in jail. Here, listen. I did a little editing to remove any hint that I was involved in setting anything up, and I pressed the play button. You decided to let them all use you. Not just that, but I'm going to find a way to make those numbskulls clean me up after everyone's done. How are we going to do it? You show everyone your chest, and that'll distract Rob while I slip something into his drink. The drugs will knock him out, and he won't remember a thing when he wakes up. While he's out, you can do whatever you want. Poke him with a beer bottle, cut an inch off his, whatever you want. He'll never know until he wakes up. Cut an inch off his size. He's lacking enough as it is, but I do like the idea with a beer bottle. Maybe after I'm done with all the guys and they leave, we can have a little fun with Rob. Maybe even take a photo of him with the bottle up his backside. We can always tell him he did it willingly but was too drunk to remember. I pressed the stop button. I played the recording for my lawyer, and he said that you and Bill could be charged with conspiracy to commit a crime. Deliberate use of drugs is a criminal offense, isn't it? No. Well, now you know. Why so quiet, Jenny? You haven't said a word. Still shocked to find out that the bold dumbnut isn't as stupid as you thought. It doesn't matter. I won't be listening to you anyway. According to John, my lawyer, this one recording alone is enough to send you and Bill to jail. But last night, you and Bill made things even better. I had 4 hidden cameras in the house that recorded everything you did. I have footage of you saying, you all know the terms, right? 500 each, hand your money to Bill, then cut the cards to see who goes first, and footage of each man handing money to Bill. That makes you guilty of prostitution and Bill your pimp. Legal terms, extortion and pandering. You're done, sweetheart. I looked at her, but she wouldn't look at me. She looked anywhere but at me, and I almost wanted to ask where her sudden contempt for me came from, but then I decided I didn't really want to know. Here's the deal. John has drawn up the divorce papers, and I'm claiming everything, the house, the savings, the certificates of deposit, everything except your car. On Tuesday, you and I will go to John's office, and you'll sign the divorce papers accepting everything as is and agreeing not to contest the divorce. After that, we'll leave John's office and go our separate ways. If you don't sign those papers on Tuesday, John will hand the recordings over to the assistant district attorney, and you and Bill will end up in criminal court and likely in jail. It's your choice, and I need to know by 4:00 p.m. on Monday so I can let John know we'll be there on Tuesday. If he doesn't hear from me by the time his office closes at 5:00, he'll meet with the district attorney first thing Tuesday morning. Still have nothing to say to me, Jenny? Well, maybe you'll want to discuss this with Bill, because if you go down, he's going down with you. There's a card from my lawyer next to the phone. I'm suing Bill for alienation of affection, and he might want to give John a call to see if it's possible to settle the matter out of court. I stood up and left her sitting there. By the end of the weekend, we tried to avoid running into each other, but just before leaving for work on Monday, I reminded her of the deadline, 4:00. I was in a good mood when I walked into the morning coffee clatch in Brad's office. Hey guys, I said, I have something you really need to see. Let's go to the conference room. There's a TV and a VCR. The only one missing was Bill. This is cool, guys. It's the most disgusting video I've ever seen. You could hear a fly buzzing as Donnie, Bill, and Jenny filled the screen. Isn't it great? Notice how clear it is. The whole tape is as clear as a bell. You can tell who the players are. None of them turned to look at me until I said, I was so pleased with how well the tape turned out that I made a few copies and sent them to each of your wives via special courier. I confirmed the delivery for 8:00 in the morning, so most of it should have arrived by now. I called ahead to let your wives know what was coming. Al, your wife asked me to send her copy to her father. He's a lawyer, isn't he? Oh, and Sam, Debbie asked me to send her a copy at the office. She seems to think that since you get home from work before she does, she can just disappear, and she really wants to see it. Any questions? No one said a word. I can't believe no one wants to talk about this. Jenny couldn't talk to me either. I'm not going to talk to you, you bastard. I'm just going to kick your ass, Donnie muttered. Come on, Donnie, but know this, in the mood I'm in right now, you'll have to kill me to keep me from killing you, and that's my damn promise. Does anyone else want to say something? No one answered. All right, guys, it's 8:00. Let's get started. Bill didn't come to work that day, and all day I received nothing but hostile glares from everyone else. At 3:30, Harry called me into his office and asked what was going on, so I told him the whole story. Can you work with them? I won't have any problems with them because I've settled the score. The question is whether they can work with me. I won't tolerate any discord in the office if it disrupts work. Tell them that, Harry, not me. But let me say this, if you decide to fire me because of what they did in my reaction to it, you better make sure my severance package is damn good, or you'll find out that I have a damn good lawyer. Are you threatening me, Rob? No, I just want to say that if you fire me instead of them, I will sue. I will do my job just like I always have, and you haven't had any complaints about my work in over 10 years. You're firing me because these idiots don't want to work with me, and that's the same as taking their side, which I won't tolerate. At 3:50, Jenny called. Bill says we should fight. He says you don't have enough grounds to stand your ground. All right, Jenny, remember, this was your choice. I hung up the phone, called John, and informed him of Jenny's decision, and he said he would let the ball roll. Bill came to work the next day and tried to avoid me. At 2 o'clock, Jenny called me. I can't come to you or go into our house. It's my house too, Rob. Talk to the judge, Jenny. According to the records available to my lawyer, you intended to cause me bodily harm. I told my lawyer I don't want you near me. I need my clothes and things, Rob. Let me know when you want to come by. If it fits my schedule, I'll arrange for a sheriff's deputy to be there, and I'll allow you to collect your personal belongings, but only personal belongings. Understand? Why are you acting this way? Why are you treating me like this? This is called settling the score, Jenny. It's partial payback for what you and Bill did to me behind my back. The next day at 10:24, 2 sheriff's deputies arrived at the office and took Bill into custody. When they let him out in handcuffs, his face was pale. I called John to inform him, and he told me that usually things don't happen this quickly, but he told the judge that since Bill worked in the same place as I do, he was concerned for my safety, which must have escalated the situation. At 4 o'clock, I received a call from Judy, Jenny's sister. Jenny just called me. She's in jail. What the hell is going on, Rob, and why is she calling me instead of you? All I can tell you, Judy, is what I hear. I hope they keep her there for a couple more years. She called you because she knew I would hang up on her because of her cheating. Cheating? Oh God, I warned her, but she didn't listen. You knew? Everyone knew. Everyone except you. Thanks for letting me know. What do you expect, Rob? She's my sister. Take care, Judy, and I hung up. The next day, I had just returned from lunch when Jason Milner called me. I'm your wife's court-appointed attorney. She just had a bail hearing, and bail has been set at $35,000. She needs $3,500 for a bondsman, and he wants you to put your house up as collateral. Given the circumstances that led her to jail, Mr. Milner, I would say you have a better chance of winning the lottery than getting that. The house is half hers, sir. Great, she can sell her half. The bondsman doesn't agree to that. That's what I'm counting on. Aren't you going to help her? Not one bit, Mr. Milner. I gave her a chance to get out of this mess, but she let her boyfriend talk her out of it. Let her rot in jail. I don't care. She would like to see you. I can arrange that. Seeing her in an orange jumpsuit with a P on the back will make me feel better. What are the visiting hours? I was sitting on the other side of the partition when she was brought in. She was wearing an orange jumpsuit with chains on her ankles and handcuffs. I asked about it later and found out that it doesn't matter who you are or what you're wearing. The standard procedure requires all inmates to be transported in handcuffs and leg chains. They took off her handcuffs but left the chains on her legs and led her to the seat across from me. She sat down, looked at me, and cried, "Get me out of here, Rob. Please get me out." Not a chance, Jenny. I gave you a choice that would have kept you from this, but you listened to your lover instead of me. I don't know if he seduced you or if you pulled him into your affair, but the fact is he cost you your marriage, and now he's costing you your freedom. You could have signed the papers John prepared and walked away, but you let Bill talk you out of it, hoping he could somehow bail you out. When you're found guilty, and according to John that's inevitable, I'll still get the divorce and everything I asked for. So I'm partly glad that this is how it's turning out. I enjoy seeing you in chains. Enjoy your life, Jenny. You gave up a good marriage for the privilege of being here, so you should at least try to enjoy it. I stood up and left the visitation room. She screamed, "Please, Rob, please don't leave me here." In the hallway, a young man with a briefcase stood waiting. When he saw me, he approached and introduced himself as Jason Milner. "We need to talk before this mess goes too far. Let's do it. I spoke with your wife and Mr. Bolton, and they told me this was all your idea, and I'm afraid I'll have to testify about it in court. Why don't we see if there's any way to resolve this matter without going to court? And how long have you been doing this, Mr. Milner? 5 years. And in all that time, you still haven't realized that your clients will say anything they think might help their chances. I have audio and video recordings of their conspiracy against me, Mr. Milner. What do they have to support their claims? I gave both of them a chance to settle this civil suit, and they both decided to shove it back in my face a little longer. So good luck to them. I'll see you in court, Mr. Milner." Bill turned in his house and posted bail, and when Jenny found out that he was out while she was not, she flew into a rage. She turned to Bill and said it was his idea, and in exchange for a plea deal, she agreed to testify against him. Her testimony, supported by the tapes, was enough. The trial lasted less than a day, and the jury was out for less than an hour. As part of the plea deal, Jenny pleaded guilty and was sentenced to 1 year with credit for time served of 4 months, while the rest of her sentence was probation, and she was ordered to complete 500 hours of community service. Bill pleaded not guilty and fought it all the way, receiving a 3-year sentence, and I spent most of my days hoping to hear that some big guy named Bubba has turned him into a girl in prison. When he gets out, my lawsuit for alienation of affection will still be waiting for him. John said we can proceed even with Bill in prison, but it might wrap up too quickly. The longer I can prolong his suffering, the happier I'll be. Since Jenny was found guilty, I'd gotten my divorce and everything I asked for. I have no idea where she is or what she's doing. I know she lost her job while sitting in jail. From time to time, I meet with her sister Judy, but by unspoken agreement, Jenny is not mentioned. Out of the 5 guys involved in the entertainment with Jenny, all were divorced within 6 months, and their wives took them to the cleaners. 2 were fired within 6 months, the other 2 quit over the next year. Sam made the mistake of waiting for me in the parking lot on the day he was fired. It cost him a broken nose, 2 broken ribs, and 5 missing teeth. I was in pain for a couple of days after that, but as strange as it sounds, it was a good pain, a satisfying pain. Out of all of them, only Donnie still works with me, and we're polite when necessary, trying to avoid each other as much as possible. The $3,000 I won covered my 2 weeks in Cancun while Jenny was sitting in jail. The biggest surprise in all of this is that I got away with it. Milner was right. I set it all up, but I had no idea it would turn out this well. All I was aiming for was a divorce. What can I say? Sometimes you just get lucky, and damn, it feels good. I remembered that old show, The A-Team, and what the Colonel, played by George Peppard, used to say, I love it when a plan comes together. Thanks to everyone who took the time to listen to today's stories. If you enjoyed it, please consider liking and subscribing if you haven't already. Feel free to share your thoughts on the events in the comments below. Take care.